What is up, YouTube fam? I'm Brunelle. I'm here at Prince Park in Oceanside, California, and today I'm going to teach you all how to do frontside blunts on transition. First, we're going to take it from a curb, and then we're going to work it into small transition, and then from there, we're going to take it up to bigger stuff. But by following all the steps in here, by the end of this video, you guys can get out there and start trying front blunts too. So the first thing that I go over when I'm teaching you guys any trick is the foot placement. The foot placement on a front blunt is very important to doing the trick. You want your front foot to be under the front bolts. The thing I like to do on this trick is I like to have my front toes hanging over the front end of the board, almost like I'm grabbing it with my back heel on the board. The reason for that is when you're turning back in from the front blunt, you're gonna be rolling your foot and also turning your foot to guide your board where you wanna go. So make sure you have that front foot over the front with your toes kind of hanging over the board like you're almost grabbing the board with your toes. I know it sounds weird, but trust me, that's what I've been doing and it works. Back foot, you're gonna want the toe in the pocket of the tail right here. The reason for that is that's your popping point. I like to have my toe more on the edge of the board versus having it more inside of the pocket. Like I like to have my foot on that very edge because that's like, the closer my foot is to the edge with grip of the board, the better the popping point is what I've noticed. So having, you know, front foot here, back foot here, simultaneously popping, that is the foot placement you want in order to do frontside blunt. All right, so now that we went over foot placement a little bit, another thing that plays a huge role in performing frontside blunts is your upper body. So upper body, you wanna make sure that you have your shoulders turned. When you go up to the trick, you kind of want to have them like clocked up, like you have your shoulders ready to turn out. So you want them to be straight with your board like this and a little bit winded up because you want to be looking back with your head or with your neck, looking back over your shoulder. And from there, that's when you have your shoulders wound up like this. That's when you turn out. It's all about turning your shoulders. Your upper body and your lower body, they work together in this trick.
So you gotta twist before you go into it.
Yep, you gotta twist before you go into it, and then you simultaneously pop and unwind those shoulders, doing that front 180 back into the transition.
It's kind of like you're preloading with the churn. Like
Exactly.
The churn, the shoulders twisted is helping you pop out. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Your shoulders and your lower body work together. So I showed you guys the foot placement. You know, you have that front foot over the edge of the board, kind of grabbing it. You have this back foot in the pocket with the heel hanging off, you know, you're ready to pop. So your feet are kind of opposite and you use your upper body here. You wound it up so you're like looking over where you want to go, kind of like on the front rocks. And then from there, that's when you do the front blunt. You have the ollie out of the front blunt. That's how you get it back into the transition. So from there, you wind up, you unwind your shoulders and you pop simultaneously, bringing that board back in.
Question is though, like you're explaining a lot of like your body position, but how do you actually pop off the coping? Because like the way that you're explaining it right now, it feels like you just churn off and you don't pop. So how do you pop off the coping?
This is a very good question, and this is why we're going to go over the curb so I can teach you guys that. Let's head over there. So I was explaining to Dowdy the foot placement and what you do with your shoulders when doing this trick, but now I'm going to show him the actual pop, because I think understanding the actual pop out of the trick with everything I showed you with the body movements is really going to help you learn this trick. So by taking it to a curb first and learning to pop out there, you'll be able to learn to pop out anywhere. And then it's all just trust and commitment from there.
Yeah. I twisted him the wrong way, huh? Yeah. All right.
Oh, another reason why we're taking it to the curb versus taking it to transition right away, because I know this is a front blunt, how to front blunt on transition video. The reason we're taking it to the curb is because it's less intimidating. You don't have that quarter pipe to land back in where you have, more margin for error. So we're taking it to the curb, less intimidating, easier to understand the popping situation. And then once you get that down, then we're gonna move it to transition. Baby steps. So you could even, if you can't wally into the blunt, you can just put your board up there and try to get used to it, as long as you put your feet in that position I talked about earlier and use your shoulders to turn out. Look.
Almost like that.
That is basically learning that. So once you can take it from a curb, then you can take it to transition.
That's the thing with like training, you don't even have to.
Starting from the curb is crucial. It's really gonna help you with your confidence and taking it over to a quarter pipe.
It's like
So you can see that I'm like, you have to pinch. So you see how I had my back foot in the pocket of the tail? You're pinching the tail in there. Wow, Daddy almost just got his first pop out right there. But it's all about the pinch. Having that back foot in the pocket will pinch that tail in there. And then you use that front foot with your toes kind of over the edge of the board to grab it, using your shoulders and guide the board out. Just like that.
Like I figured it out kind of like I figured out the motion. Like it's less intimidating, I figured out the motion. But the reality is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's probably harder on a curve.
Yeah.
Because you're having to get more over. Like when training, you're actually in the inside. So it's like a good way to actually learn the trick. Yeah, I don't know what I'm getting.
No, you got it. You nailed it. So it's actually a little bit harder in a sense doing the wally up to the curb, the front blonde there. But if you can, it's easier. It's like easier in your mind to go for it on a curb because there's not the transition. There's not the factor of harder falls going on. You know, it's just flat ground. So, you know, that's why I learned it on a curb first. I understood the pop there. And then from there, you take it to transition, start doing front blunts there. But let's get it, guys. We're going to move this over to a quarter pipe. So we have this little quarter pipe back here. It's like 2.5 feet with no coping on it. That's a perfect size to start learning the front blunts on. The only difference from doing this front blunt on this quarter pipe from doing the front blunt on the curb before is that you're going to be on a quarter pipe. So when you come back into the transition, you're going to want to be over the front of the board. You kind of want to dip your shoulder down when you come in on that front 180. And by dipping your shoulder down, it kind of shows that you're over the board, you're in front, you're in charge, and you just ride that thing out. So just dip your shoulder down and commit. That's all it really is. Once you feel like you're fully around and you got that shoulder turned around, you got the board around, it's just, riding back down the quarter pipe. I know it seems scary when it's your first one, but when it feels right, just go for it. You guys got it.
Yeah, no!
So I think some falls that are associated with front blunts is just when people, aren't fully going for it or have some sort of doubt in their mind. It's usually when you have to be all or nothing on this trick, really, honestly. So, just go for it. If it doesn't feel right, try to kick it out, try to get that board away from underneath you, because when it's underneath you and you're kicking out, it's a dangerous spot to be. So just try to keep the board away from you if you're trying to kick out. But other than that, you just got to go for it. Get that body placement right, feet over the board, and boom, front blunt. All right, now that me and Dowdy both got some front blunts on here, especially Dowdy, that was his first front blunt in his 20 some odd years of skating. Insane. I hope you guys are starting to understand the idea of front blunts. That foot placement is huge. Upper body plays a big role, and that pop on the coping is everything. So now that we got it on the smaller quarter pipe, we're gonna move it up into some bigger quarter pipes. This area at Prince Park, it has some coping. No coping over there. Starting the no coping, work our way over the coping. The only difference from doing it on no coping Regular coping is it's going to be more of a pop because you have to clear that coping coming back into the transition.
Right.
So one thing that's huge with this trick that I didn't mention before, you have the wind up with your shoulders, but when you do the pop out and you're starting to come back in, make sure you follow through with those shoulders when you unwind them, and make sure you turn your head back to normal area. You don't want to like keep turning your head, because then you're going to revert out, or your shoulders aren't going to be lined up with your feet so that, you know, you can ride back down the quarter pipe. So shoulders play a huge role. So once you guys understand and learn front blunts on transition, then you can start doing different variations. You can go disaster, truck bash, revert out. Some people do flips out, but let me show you a few. Well guys, that's gonna wrap it up for our how to front blunt video. I hope you guys all, you know, got something from the vid. If you're gonna start learning the trick, I'd say start learning on the curb first. If you've already been, you know, dabbling with it and trying to learn it, you know, start on baby quarter pipes, or start on quarter pipes that don't have coping, because it's easier to get that pop out. It's easier to get past the lip back into the transition. And then from there, you can get used to it and take it to a quarter pipe that has coping. But thanks for watching, everyone. And hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. See you guys on the next one. Yeah.